Hello everyone, I'm here with a VR video um, to Katey Flowers, who started the only 10 decks hashtag. I've seen a few videos by some of the people I follow, and it looks like a really fun tag to participate in, so I wanted to share my 10 decks that I would keep if I only could keep 10 decks. It was not like an easy decision, but I saw some other people who were saying these are the 10 decks that I'm like enjoying the most right now, so I use that as my way of deciding. Also, I picked some decks that, like, if I really needed to just keep 10 decks, these are the ones I would really want to take with me, either because they're like one of my treasured decks, or I have a lot of learning to do with them, or I think they're like a really good learning tool. So the first one that I have here is a Gaia, the Magician's deck by Cassandra Beanland, Stuart Littlejohn, Josephine McCarthy. And I believe I have shared this deck in a different video. Maybe my spooky decks. And I think this is the first edition. I got it pre-owned from someone a few years ago. And I'll just flip through a little bit here. So this is a deck that I would definitely want to keep with me if I only could have 10 decks, because this is a deck that I use to learn about magic and also to explore the inner realm. So there's a lot in this deck that I think would take like a lifetime to learn. And so my reason for choosing it is because it's like a learning tool for me. So that's the Gaia Magician's deck. Another deck that I chose for a similar reason is the Mysteries of Mary Tarot. And I don't have the book with me, but I would definitely bring this deck along with the book. The book is nearby though, so I might pull it out. This is a deck that I purchased a couple of years ago. It's made by Hetien Gobler. I hope I pronounced her name right. She is Walking with Mary on Instagram, and I think she has a couple of other accounts that she manages. So this is another deck that I see as like a journey deck, a deck that I use to learn about the many different apparitions or personifications of the goddess and of Mother Mary. And I hope in the future to also be able to have the Black Madonna tarot. And I believe that Etienne is also working on a third deck, the Red Goddess, which I am really excited for, and I also hope to have that one in the future. So this one together with the guidebook would be a definite must-have for me. And then at the very bottom of my pile, I have the third deck that I chose with this in mind. This idea of it being like a deck that I would journey with and learn with. Actually, there's a few like that. So I already got this one out. This is the Weaver's Oracle by Carolyn Hiller. And I also got this one pre-owned from someone a while ago. And I've used, I've pulled a card per month a couple of years ago to work with each of the weavers. And this is one of those decks that you really have to develop a relationship with, and get to know all the different weavers. I feel that they're like spirits. Let me see if I can find the way to put these away. So I feel like they're like spirit companions, the weavers in this oracle. And maybe one day I'll do a more in-depth share about this one. The guidebook is just beautiful stories that I think we could spend a lot of time trying to like study them and really connect with the energy of each of the weavers. So this is another deck that I would want to have with me for like long-term exploration. So I'll just flip through a few of the cards here. I really there are some weavers that I have worked with already, and like I said, they feel like people, like spirits or archetypes or energies that you connect with, and you start developing a relationship with them, and they're like grandmothers. I also like that there's a range of different cultural backgrounds represented in the cards. So it's not just like grandmothers from the northern part of the world. There's really a lot of different grandmothers from all over the world. This is one of my favorite ones. She is one of my favorite ones. There's another one that is like a stone grandmother. I also worked with her. Now I'm flipping through all of them, but this would be another deck that I would definitely want to have with me. And another deck that I chose for a similar reason to study with is the Gaia, the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I won this deck in a giveaway a few years ago, and the giveaway was by Weavers Tarot. They're no longer active on Instagram, which I'm very sad about because I loved their account and what they shared. So the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, every time I work with it, I just have this feeling of just how deep of a deck it is. And sometimes I try to do large spreads with this deck, and then I remember that it's a very detailed deck, so one card at a time for me is better. I mentioned in my other in a different video that I love meaty guidebooks, so this deck does not disappoint. There's a pocket edition available now, but I'm really glad I have the full-size deck with the full-size guidebook. I'll just flip through a few. So even though this one is called a tarot, it's not really following the tarot system, but it does follow it in some sense, with like the suits being the 4 elements, but it has extra cards than just the 22 major arcana. And I just really love the artwork. I have another deck by this creator that I almost picked, but I ended up not picking it for some reason, and that's the Messenger Oracle. I really love that one. So that would be like a close 11th. So this is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which I would love to definitely have with me if I only could keep 10 decks. There's so much to explore and learn about the inner earth. So it's definitely a study deck for me, or like a magical explorations deck. I'll have to put them back later. writer. Let's see, next on my list, I felt like I should have a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I picked this one because I like the artwork better than another Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I have, which was my very first deck. But this one I like that it's small and it comes in a tin, and I just like the coloring and the look of it better. I like that the cards are small. I feel like I can make bigger spreads with it. In my original list, because I ended up switching things around, I had included a Rider-Waite-Smith, a Thoth deck, and then a Tarot de Marseille deck, so I could have the 3 different systems. I didn't end up doing that for the video though, but that would be just something that I was considering. So I would want to have a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. There's been some interesting talk in the Instagram community, the tarot community, about the Rider-Waite-Smith and why we seem to like almost venerate the system, and how maybe it's time for tarot to like break with the system. I have to dig into that a little bit more, and then I can give you guys my opinion. Next up, I would definitely want to have the Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris Ann. I love this deck. This deck is so uplifting and inspirational for creatives, and I foresee that I would always be doing creative things, so I would definitely want to have this deck with me to help inspire me and give me motivation when I'm feeling doubt about my creative gifts and my secret role as a creator. So that's number 6, I think. I lost count. This is the mass market edition, and I know there was an indie version, but I was really glad when it became a mass market edition that I could then easily afford. Another deck that I would select for the same reason as the Weaver's Tarot, the Dreams of Gaia, something to study with and just for more self-study and self-exploration, is the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I haven't opened it, and let's see if I can open it kind of easily. I really love the packaging. It's bulky and it has like 3 layers, but I think it's really nice. At first, I did not like the images and the cards on this deck, but I like that they're circular. This is my very first circular deck, and I used to have well, now I have it again, the Wild Unknown. I have the pocket edition, but I was not super excited about the artwork in the cards because it has that collage look, but the guidebook is really awesome, and the additional resources that Kim Kranz shares for each of the archetypes are really wonderful. So this deck has grown on me, and I've used it a lot, and it's great for working with archetypes. And it has some archetypes that you wouldn't think of as archetypes, which I think is very cool. I have a different archetype deck that I recently got. It's the one by Caroline Miss that has 80 archetypes, but they're more like people archetypes. And here you have a lot of different things like the village, the mountain, the journey. So it's not just people, which I like. The threshold. So I would definitely want to have this one for my work with archetypes, for shadow work, for dream work. and I just wanted to show you that guidebook really quickly. So in addition to giving you the image of the card and some information about the card, there's also this like additional prompts to read poems, listen to songs. It has like a light and shadow and a go deeper prompt. So I really appreciate those extra things that she has shared. And when I have worked with the deck and I read the additional or looked for the additional resources, they have been really helpful. So I have the last three. When I was making my list, I thought I wanted to have like a plant deck, an animal deck, and maybe like a goddess deck. I didn't end up choosing an animal deck, but I did pick this plant deck. It's one of my favorite ones, although the herbal tarot is a close second. So I think I've mentioned this one before. It's the Herb Crafter Tarot written by Letitia Guthrie, and the artwork is by Joanna Powell Colbert, who is also the creator of the Gaian Tarot. And I really like this one. Also as a study deck, just to connect with the different plant allies, to learn about their medicine, and then the guidebook gives you some instructions about how to work with the plants, like how to actually use them. So I would love to keep it in my top 10 or my only 10 decks because of that. And the artwork is beautiful, and it has so many different plants. So that is the Herb Crafter Tarot. I'm knocking over my alien heads here. I don't think I have an alien tarot now that I think about it. I have the Starseed Oracle, but I don't have any like alien energy cards. I don't know that I've seen any alien energy decks either. But well, now that I've mentioned them, I have these alien heads that are made of different stones and crystals. This is just two of them. This one is chevron amethyst, and this one is rose quartz. And I bought them from someone who I have been buying crystals for a very long time. And when I first saw them, they caught my eye, but I resisted getting them for many months until I knew it was time to get them and I could get them. So now they are here with me. I did end up picking a goddess oracle, and I was debating between this one and the divine feminine oracle, but since I haven't really worked with it, I decided not to pick it. And then I thought of cheating because I have the animal knowledge cards that's like this one but with animal energy, and I thought of combining these two and calling it one deck, and that way I could get my animal and goddess deck in one. So I really like the artwork on these cards. They have a little bit of information on the back. I don't know, sometimes I don't find the information super useful, but I do love the artwork, and then you can do a little bit more of research on the particular goddess that came out for you. The artwork is just so dreamy and so like surreal. So it also reminds me a little bit of the soul cards, just the style of art. So I would want to keep this one to connect with the different goddesses. This is Athena. And we are down to the last one. Go back here. Sometimes putting cards back into their boxes is so difficult. So this is the Pythonic Tarot by Jessica Shaw. And I just recently got this one a few months ago, together with the Black Mirror Oracle. And this is my a devotional deck for my work with the goddess Hecate. So that is why I would keep it with me if I could only have 10 decks, because I want to continue connecting with that deity, goddess, and nurturing that relationship. And the artwork is really beautiful, even though it's like a dark deck. It has a lot of vibrant colors, which I like. There's also a lot of different symbols, and the guidebook is pretty decent in terms of information that is provided. Hopefully I'm in the frame here. I love that it has crystals. It's just a really magical deck. So this is my last one in the group of 10. So I hope you enjoyed watching my video and just hearing a little bit about how I selected my only 10 decks. And as I mentioned, the tag is by Katey Flowers. So if you would like to share your own only 10 decks video response, please do so. They have been really fun to watch. And thank you so much for joining me on mine, and I will see you on the next video.